Alright guys, in this video I'm going to show you a software that I use in my classroom. It's actually really helpful. It's called Microsoft OneNote. And how do you open that up? First thing is, you can click on the icon itself. Right now you can see that I have the icon on the taskbar, so I just have to click on this and it opens up the software. But let's just say that your icon for some reason is not on the taskbar. How do you open this up? So we're going to pretend like this wasn't there. Okay, we're going to X this out. We're going to click on the start key. And then you see that this option opens up. You can also see that right now OneNote shows up at the top, but again, we're going to pretend like this isn't there. So we're going to hit the box where it says search programs and files. Once you hit that, you're going to hit the keyboard that's over to the right, and we're going to type in OneNote. Now you can see that there's like 3 different options, so which one do you select? You select the one that says OneNote 2013. Okay, not the one that's at the top, not the one that says send to OneNote 2013. You select the one that's in the middle. Now, if you select that once, it's going to open up the software just for that one time. But what I would do is, since if you are going to be deciding to use, if you're going to decide to use the software a lot in the classroom, what you want to do is take the stylus that you're using. By the way, whenever I say select something in this video, I'm not using my fingers to touch that. I'm actually using the included stylus that came with the tablet. So how did I save this OneNote so that I always have that available and I don't have to go through this process every single time? Well, I'm going to take the stylus and I'm going to hold that on the OneNote 2013, and you're going to see that a menu of options opens up. Now, I've already done this on my tablet. You can see that pin to start menu. That's when I initially clicked the Windows button and you saw the OneNote icon at the top. Unpinned from taskbar, you can see that the OneNote was already on the taskbar on my computer, so that's why it's saying that you can unpin that. But once I click pin, you can see now it's now I can see 2 of those because I already had it up there. But the point is, I can always go back and delete that. So how did I actually start that once I have that thing saved? Okay, so we're going to hit the Windows key and we're going to hit OneNote 2013. Okay, once you hit that, you can see that OneNote, it's going to take a little bit of time for it to open up. There we go. Once it opens up, this is what you're most likely going to see. Unless, of course, you see a pop-up message that says save this program as default. In that case, you just hit yes or no, depending on whatever the settings are that you prefer on your personal tablet. Okay. So once you see this, how do you actually use this? Now you're looking at this and you're like, man, what did I do with this? This is what we're going to do. So let's just say that you're teaching 7 periods. Okay. Or you're teaching however many classes you're teaching. So we're going to say that period 1, I'm just going to create a notebook as an example. I'm going to click this option where it says My Notebook, and I'm going to click on Add Notebook on this. So once you click this, you can see that the software would ask you to save a notebook in different locations. But this is what I would personally do. I never save stuff on OneDrive because that's something where you would need to have internet connection to be able to access that. What I always do is I always save it on my computer, and if I want to upload that to my OneDrive, I can always do that. So click on computer. Now you can see that you can call this notebook whatever you want, but just before you do that, create this in a different folder. Okay, I don't like the default setting that's on this. Instead, I'm going to have a folder right on the desktop. So we're going to click on the desktop just like how I did. And again, using that stylus, we're going to hold that. Click new and then go on folder. At this point, click on the keyboard and type in OneNote notebooks. Okay, there you go, guys. So we have this. Click open. Once you do this once, you've got this. Okay, notebook name. We're going to just hit create. Oh, type in a notebook name. Okay, so let's just say that you want to call this period 1, or if you want to give this an actual name. For my example, I'm just going to say, you know what, we'll go with AP Physics. Okay, there you go. So AP Physics create. There you go, guys. So that's the notebook that's created now. Now, how do you actually use this? You're looking at this and you see that at the page, at the top of right next to AP Physics, it says New Section 1. Now, there's so many different ways you can use this. But what I like to do is, you can see that you can add more tabs at the top. You can add you can add an infinite number of tabs if you want, and each one of those tabs could be like a section or a chapter in the textbook. So for example, let's say that new section 1 for me is chapter 1 in whatever textbook or whatever resource it is that I'm using and stuff. So I can just go ahead and I can, again, using that stylus, click on it, rename that to whatever you want. This, again, it doesn't have to be a chapter, it could be a topic for you, but you know, depending on whatever you want to call that. So tailor this to your needs. So this would be chapter 1. Now we're going to click on the second one, and again, you can call this, you know, hold on to this, rename this, and you can call that chapter 2, and then so on. You can change that for each one of these. Okay, so again, you don't have to call it chapter 1 and chapter 2. You can call that topic 1, topic 2, or you can even give it a specific name if you want. Let's say if you want to call this, in physics, you know, there's one area that we study a lot, and it's called kinematics. So instead of calling it chapter 1, chapter 2, I can also call it a different topic if I want. Now, this would be one chapter. Let's say if you only wanted, as an example, you know, let's say you only had to cover 3 different topics in this, chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 3, which is kinematics in our case, and you wanted to delete a new section 4 and 5, you would just click on that and then hit the delete key. Again, it's going to say, are you sure you want to move this to the recycle bin? Click yes. You know, let's say you want to delete section 5. You can just click on this and delete that one, and then click yes again. Okay. Now, this is if you want to create chapters. How do you actually want to create the section in this? If you look all the way to the right, see where it says add page? Okay, so follow the stylus, guys, if you get lost. So look, the stylus is going all the way to the right. You click on add page. You can add however many pages you want to this. So you can click on the first one, and let's say that right now we're working with chapter 1. Within chapter 1, you can call the first page to be section 1. Okay, so it's almost like saying now you're looking at not just a chapter, you're looking at the individual topics or sections within that chapter. Again, how do you rename that? Okay, so what you want to do is you can click where it says date. Okay, you can click at the top, and then you can hit the keyboard, and you can call this whatever you want. So let's say in chapter 1, you know, we're just going to say that this is section 1. Okay, just to make things easy. Okay, now look, exit out, and you can see that this section 1 is also showing up on the right. So that's section 1 over on that side. Let's say you wanted to rename untitled page that's after section 1. So this could be your section 2 in your classroom. So you can call this section 2. And then of course if you want to rename the next one, this could be your section 3. Okay. Let's say if you wanted to rename something in the kinematics chapter, so you would click on this, and then you can call this, for example, let's say you wanted to add a couple pages to this. You can call this projectile motion. Okay, that could be one of your sections. Okay, now what do you notice about this? I wanted to call the first section projectile motion, but I accidentally called the last one to be projectile motion. So you can either delete the remaining sections and this, the projectile motion will go at the top, or you can just take this thing and you can move it up to wherever you want to. So, you know, don't freak out if you screw up. This is, you know, this is a really user-friendly software. If you know how to use Microsoft Word, this is just one step beyond it. That's all it is. Projectile motion, and then of course whatever else you want to call this. So, you know, let's say we're going to call it, you know, whatever. I'm just going to type some random stuff on this, and you can see that the name shows up on the right. Alright guys, once you have this, you're looking at this, you're like, well, this is good, but how do I actually write stuff on this? So initially, one thing I have to say is that the stylus that came with this tablet isn't the best. And what I mean by that is that imagine if you're writing something on a sheet of paper, and imagine if you are writing something with a pencil. Okay, it could be a mechanical pencil, it could be a number 2 pencil, it could be, you know, imagine a pencil with an eraser on the back. So if you're writing something on a sheet of paper, all you have to do is to erase something. You flip the pencil and then you start erasing. Now there are certain tablets. One of the tablets that I use personally at my house, it's called Microsoft Surface. It's a really good tablet. The stylus that comes with that one has an eraser on the back. Okay, not that this is a bad tablet, guys, don't get me wrong. But the thing is, I'm not a big fan of the stylus that came with this. I personally think that Lenovo could have done a better job on this. But anyways, you know, you can't erase by flipping it because there's no eraser option on this stylus. That's what the point is. So how do you actually do that? That's exactly what I'm going to show you right now. But to be able to erase something, you need to be able to write something. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. You can see that at the top you have several different options, right? So file, home, insert, draw, history, review, and then the view command at the end. We're going to click on the draw command because this is where you're mainly going to be using a lot of the tools that you need to write and erase stuff. Okay, so let's just say you wanted to select the pen. Now you can see that you have so many different options in this box, right? And if you click this arrow key at the bottom, you can see that you have even more options than what you had previously. Let's just say that you wanted to select this pen as an example. Now look, you can start writing with this. So 2x plus 3 is equal to 5, just as an example. Okay. If you wanted to highlight stuff, you would have to go on draw command and then select this. Okay. Now if you wanted to erase something, you again go on the draw command and then you hit the erase key. And then, by the way, you see how big the eraser came out on this? Okay, so let's say you wanted to delete the 5, but then you accidentally hit a part of the equal sign as well. So that could be a problem, right? So you can select however big you want that eraser to be. So click on go back on the draw command, click on this, and then let's say you want to click on a smaller eraser. Okay, so now you can see that the size is much smaller on this one. Okay, and then you can erase whatever you want. But what do you notice about this though? You don't want to keep going back on the draw command every single time that you have to do this, right? So how would you actually do this without doing that process every single time? Well, there's something that I did on my tablet where I have all the keys in one place. Okay, all the favorite keys that I'm going to be using in my classroom. So this is what you do. Go on the draw command. Okay. First thing we're going to do is, you see where it says favorite pens? We're going to delete all of these, and I'll show you why we're going to do that. Okay, so we're going to click on this. Okay, remove the pen. Okay, we're going to click on this one, remove the pen. So we're going to do that for each one of these. Yeah, and don't freak out, I'll show you how to get these pens back. Alright, it's going to take a little bit of time, you know, because there's so many of them. But it doesn't take like a whole lot of time though. Alright, so once you delete them, you know, you're looking at this and you're like, well, what do I do now? There's no pens for me to select. You can select pens from this, but again, you know, let's say if you want to select this, you write that, and if you want to erase that, it's the same problem. You need to go back to this command and keep doing that. What we're going to do now is, you're going to see that on that same command, on the draw command, you're going to see that there's something that's called color and thickness. We're going to click this, and what you're going to do is, alright, let me tell you something from my experience. You can select whatever thickness you want, so I'm just going to like scroll on this. You see how it says 0.25 millimeters, 0.35, 0.5, 0.7, 1, 1.5, 2.0, 3.5, and then 5, you know, but obviously the thickness increases. And then you have so many different colors that you can select from. You know, let's go with, I'll show you the thickness that I use in my classroom whenever I do the notes and stuff, and I feel like that just comes out right, it comes out perfect on the projector screen. You click on the color that you select. Alright, so we're going to go with the black one on this, 0.35 millimeters. Right now we're going to stay on this. Make sure that you're on the pen option, you're not on the highlighter. We're going to get to that one in a second as well. Okay, so 0.35 is the one that we're going to use. Okay, click OK. We're going to go on the draw command. You can already see that the pen has now been added to that, and I'll show you why that's important. Okay, we're going to click on color and thickness again. Okay, we're not going to change the thickness on this. We're going to keep that at 0.35. Again, this is personal preference. Okay, so if you want to change the thickness on this, play around with this, you can always go back and change that. Okay, so we're going to click, now we've already selected the black one, we're going to go on the blue one on this, and that's in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Alright, that's in the 8th column, and it's in the 2nd row, but again, depending on your personal preference, if you want to go with the dark blue, you can go one above that. Okay, 0.35, again, personal preference, we're not going to change that for now. Okay, click OK on this, click the draw command. You can see that these pens are being added as you hit the OK button at the end. Okay, so we got the black one, got the blue one. We're going to click on the red one now. Click OK. Click draw. And then we're going to click on the green one. click OK. And I'll explain why it is that I'm selecting these specific pens and stuff. So once you have these, you can still add a couple more pens to this. Okay, so now we're going to click on color and thickness, but this time we're not going to select a different color unless you want to, which is okay, you know. So 0.35, we're going to move it up to, say, about like 1, or actually go with 0.7. Okay, so 0.35, we're going to go up to 0.7, and we're going to select again, start with the black one. So click, select OK. You click on draw again, color and thickness. Click on the blue one. Now you can already see that the option is still at 0.7, so that's good. Okay, we don't want to be on 0.35 now since we've already done that. Okay, so click on the blue one, click OK. Click on draw color and thickness. Click on the red. And then finally we're going to click on the green one. Okay. Now, at this point, you were thinking, you were like, why do I need to do this, guys? Just one last thing that we're going to do, and I'll show you exactly why we're going to need to do this. Okay, so you've got the pens on there. You also want a couple highlighters because, you know, in class it's easy. If let's say you have your notes opened up, it actually is really helpful if you can show specific parts of a note, so you can always highlight stuff. We're going to click on color and thickness. Now this time we're going to click on the highlighter option, the radio button that's at the top. Okay, the most common one, at least in my personal opinion, you know, we're going to click on the yellow one, click OK. You can go on draw, you can see that the highlighter's been added. Okay, we're going to add a couple more though. So we're going to go on the green, click OK, draw color and thickness, click on aqua, or you can do blue, whichever one you want. Okay, color and thickness, and then I think I wanted to add one more. Okay, let's just go with this one. Alright guys, so once you have this, now you're like, well, I still need to go on the draw command. Well, this is what we're going to need to do to be able to see all the favorite pens and highlighters that we've added. So this is like the most important thing in Microsoft OneNote. Okay, we're going to go on File, and we're going to go down to where it says Options. Okay. Now you can see that you have a list of options on this, and we're going to click on Quick Access Toolbar. Okay, once you click on this, you can see that there's a whole bunch of commands that you have on the left side, and then there's only a few that you have on the right. What this means is that everything that you've just added, you can add that over on the right hand side. And I'll tell you exactly how the settings are on my personal tablet, and it makes my life a whole lot easier. Alright guys, so these are the different options that I have. First thing I always do is, I always like to add the first 4 pens, so favorite pen 1, this is added, keep adding it until you get to the 4th one. Now I'm going to stop on this real quick and I'll show you why. So keep this in mind, remember the first 4 pens that we added? What was the thickness on those? Each one of those pens had a thickness of 0.35 millimeters, okay? You can add 5, 6, 7, and 8, but the thing is, I always like to have a small division between the pens. So what I do is, at this point, I'm going to scroll up a little bit, and I'm going to put the copy command in this, which is really helpful, believe me. I've been using OneNote for like more than a year, and these are some of the commands that I feel like I use a lot, so I'm like, you know what, might as well have them in one location so I don't need to keep going on draw and then selecting those commands. Okay, click on copy. But then when you copy something, you also need to be able to paste that. So we're going to put the paste command, scroll down on this. We're going to put the paste command right next to that. Now we're going to go back up to the pens. We've already added the 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay, so we're going to do 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the reason why I'm adding 5, 6, 7, and 8 after the copy and paste is because I don't want to mix up the pens so that, you know, it's like 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then you immediately have 5, 6, 7, and 8. If you have that division, you know that anything that's to the left of the copy and paste command are your 0.35 millimeter pens. Anything that's to the right of that would be your 5, 6, 7, 8, which would be your 0.7 millimeters. Obviously, you know, that's up to you, whatever thickness you want to select. I showed you in the beginning that there are so many different levels of thicknesses that you can select on this. Alright, so once you have this, we're going to add something else to this, which is really helpful, and I'll show you that in the video why it's going to be helpful. So we're going to add the delete command on this. Okay, so we're going to click this. Now look, you've got the 4 pens, then you have the copy and paste command. Now you have the 5, 6, 7, and 8, and then you have the delete command. the last thing that we're going to do is add highlighters on this. Okay, so add each one of those. Now look, as soon as you click OK, what do you guys notice at the top? Okay, you may not be able to see this so much only because the software that I'm using to record this video is covering up one part of the screen. But believe me, if you were able to look at this, you would see that, you know, if I could somehow hide this, you would see that this thing runs all the way to the left and you have all the favorite pens and stuff. Let me see if I can hide that in the software itself. Okay. Since I'm already recording this, I don't think it's going to let me do that. But this is what I'll do. I'll show you guys how that looks like in the second video that I'll upload. Alright guys, so you have all the pens and stuff there. So we're going to continue this in the second video. Alright guys, so we're going to continue this. So this is like the second video. But I'll try to see if I can like put this one right after the first one using Windows Movie Maker, if I can combine the two videos into one. Alright, so now you can see that at the top you have all the favorite commands and stuff, and of course you can add a few more things to this if you want, depending on, again, you know, personal preference. If you feel that there's a certain command that you're going to be using in the classroom, once you start using OneNote, you're going to see exactly what it is that you need and what it is that you don't need. You may not even need all these pens and stuff, but personally teaching math, I've seen that there's certain problems where, you know, let's say if you're working with a graph or something and you want to highlight the, you know, let's just draw this out. Let's say you're working with an X and Y table, just as an example. And then if you want to point out a specific point on a line, you know, it might be easier if you use a little bit of thicker pen so that you can show the class that this is where the point is and stuff, you know, just as an example. Okay, so you've got the pens. You can see that now if you write something, you know, you can quickly highlight this. You don't have to go on the draw command or something. You can just quickly select whatever you want to do. And if you don't like something, you can always go and erase that. Speaking of that, what do you notice about this? I forgot to add the eraser command on this, but we can do that. It's actually really easy. You know that the original command shows up under the draw menu, so you click on this, and then you're not going to click once on the eraser. You're going to take the stylus and you're going to hold on to that, and you're going to say add to quick access toolbar. Now look, you've got the eraser at the top, so you only have to do that once. Okay, now you don't have to go on the draw command anymore. You can just click on the eraser and you can erase whatever you want. And if you want to quickly switch back to a certain pen, you just click on that pen, and then you just continue from there. So again, you know, you're writing something. If you want to erase something, click on the eraser, and then start erasing it. See how easy that is? Okay. What else are we going to need to do on this? Alright guys, so let's just say that what do you notice about this? Right now you can write stuff on this, but the thing is, you also want, it's actually going to help you out if you actually had lines on this. So imagine a college ruled paper, you know, so if you have lines on that, it's so much easier to see where it is that you're going to be writing and stuff, you know, so you don't actually end up writing sloppy or something. So how do you do that? Well, what you can do is you can go on all the way to the right where it says view, and then you can click on rule lines. Now look, you have so many different options on this. In my class, at times I actually end up using the graph paper, you know, depending on the application or the problems that we're working with. Let's say if you want to use this is something that I have set as default. So, you know, we're going to click on the second option, which is the one that I like. That's the college ruled. And again, you can see that the lines appear on this now. But here's a slight problem though. Watch what's going to happen if I were to click add page on this. Okay, what do you notice about this? Alright guys, so what do you notice about this? You can see that the first page was actually the one that was a college ruled notebook paper, but then you can see that the second one is just a blank computer paper. So how do you fix that? Well, this is what you can do. What I would do is I would go on the insert command and click on page templates. Click this once. We're going to minimize this recording software just to show you guys what it looks like. Now you can see that all the way at the bottom, you see where it says save current page as a template? If you click on this, it's going to ask you to save this page, so you don't have to keep doing this over and over again. So we're going to give this thing a name. We're going to call this, you know, again, you can call this whatever you want. We're just going to call this college. Can't spell college. Alright, let me retry that. College ruled. Oh, can't spell, guys, forgive me. Oh, there we go. You know what? We're just going to call it that. Set as a default template. Okay. Click on this. Click on save. and you can see that now this is default template. Now what that means is that you see how this was the page that once you clicked on the add page, this is the page that you got, but this wasn't a college rule page, so we're going to delete this one. And this is exactly where that delete command is so helpful. So let's say you want to delete a page in this. Okay, so we're going to highlight this and see all the way at the top, we're going to exit out, so now it's deleted. Watch what's going to happen as soon as you hit the add page. Now you can see that every page from this point on would automatically have the lines on this because we've saved it in the Microsoft Note. Now this is the option that we're going to be using and stuff. But keep in mind though, this only applies to a section that you're working with. So as an example, let's say if you wanted to go to a different section, okay, so you wanted to go to kinematics. Okay, if you were on the last page and if you wanted to add a couple more pages to this, you can see that it's not going to automatically have that college ruled paper on this. So how do you do that? Well, we're going to delete this, we're going to delete that one. You know, point is you can delete all of these pages since none of these pages have that college ruled paper on it. So how do you actually add that? Well, we're going to go on insert. Okay, pretend like we're not there yet. So X this out, we're going to go on insert, page templates, click on this, and we're going to go on my templates, and we're going to click on college ruled. Now it's added on this. And if you were to click on add page, you would see that it's not automatically going to do it. So whenever you go to a different section, you always need to make sure that you guys go on the page all the way at the bottom, and then you select save template so that it's going to automatically have that college rule paper on there. Okay, so this is what we're going to do. Okay, so see where it says no default template? We're going to go on this and we're going to say college ruled my templates. Okay, once you click on this, now you can see that it doesn't matter how many pages you add, it's automatically going to have that on there. Okay, and of course if you want to delete a page, it's actually really easy. Just double click that, X, let's say you want to delete this one, double click, X. See how easy that is. Once you have all the tools at the top, it actually makes things a lot easier. Alright guys, so this is good, but let's just say that you wanted to save this notebook, okay, or a section of it, and you wanted to save it as a PDF so that you can share that with the students. That's actually like the most important thing that you can do. As an example, you know, for now I'm just going to show you guys how to delete the chapter. It's actually really easy. You click on the chapter that you don't want, you hold on to that, and then you hit the delete command on this. And it's not only going to delete the chapter, but it's going to delete the pages that go with that, or the sections of that chapter. Okay, let's say you want to delete kinematics on this. So click on this, we're going to hit the delete key, and then you click on yes, and it's deleted. Okay, so what do you notice about this? This notebook, we're going to write some stuff on it. Just some random stuff just to show you guys an example. Okay, so section 3, this is what we did in section 3, and on the last page, this is what we did. Okay, and if you want to do some highlighting on this. Alright, so let's just say that this is the entire notebook, and this is what you want to share with the class. Okay, so it's actually really easy. How do you do that? You go on File, and then you click on the option that says Export. Okay. What do you notice about this? If you look on the left hand side, there's 3 different options. It says you can export the current page, you can export the current section, or you can export the entire notebook. Okay, I can tell you that you're not going to be exporting the entire notebook from a day-to-day basis. What you're going to be doing is you're most likely going to be exporting a current page, okay, or whatever thing you did. But just as an example, I'm going to show you guys how to export the current notebook. So this could be like the end of the year thing, you know. Once you're done with the entire notebook and you want to give that to the students, you can just click on export notebook, and it's going to export the whole notebook as a PDF file, if that's what you decided to export this as. Okay, so we're going to do export notebook on this, and as soon as you click that, you can see that on the right there are several different options. Okay, I always go with the PDF. That's like the most universal one in my opinion. Okay, click export. Okay, now you can save this wherever you want, but I don't like to save it in the same folder that I have my other command as. So let's just say that we're going to save it on desktop. Okay, so we can call this a different folder. Okay, so we're going to say a new folder, and we're going to name this. Okay, what should we name this? Actually, okay, so we're going to call this PDF notes. Alright, just make it easy. We're going to call this PDF notes, just as an example. You can call it whatever you want though. Okay, click on PDF notes, click on save. Give it a little bit of time, and you're going to see that Microsoft OneNote is actually going to save this whole thing as a PDF. Okay, so the students don't necessarily need to have OneNote to be able to open up the notebooks and stuff. Okay, now you can see that if you go on PDF notes, there's your AP Physics or whatever note, and you can see that, you know, zoom out on this a little bit. Okay, so section 1, that's what we had on there. Section 2, and you can also see that Microsoft OneNote is actually really neat about the way that it exports the stuff. You can see that it's calling it chapter and then the page. Okay, so chapter 1, page 2, and this is what we had on the last one. So that's a whole PDF, and the way that you would share this with the kids is just like how you would do any other file. You know, you can go on ClassJump, you can go on Edmodo, you can go on any website that you use in your classroom. You literally go on upload, select the file that you want to share, and then that thing would be shared. Now let's just say that you wanted to share a specific section. You know, you don't want to share the entire notebook, because imagine this, you know, you're in the classroom, let's say you're in the 3rd quarter, and you're working with something that's like, you know, maybe in the 10th chapter or something, you know, you're in chapter 10 and you don't want to share the whole notebook, you only want to share like a specific section, whatever you covered that day. So how do you do that? Let's just say that you covered this, you know, we're going to go on section 3. Let's just say that this is what you covered on a given day. So how do you share just this one thing? You go on File, click on Export. Now instead of clicking on Notebook, we're going to click on Page, so whatever you're currently on, okay? So you click on Page and then you hit, again, you have a list of options there, but PDF is the best way to go in my personal opinion. You click on PDF and then you click on Export, and then you can call this whatever, so we're going to call this section 3 as an example. Again, wherever you want to save this. And minimize this, PDF notes, that's where the default location is that I set. Now you click on section 3 PDF, and look, that's the only page that's shared now. Okay, so, you know, imagine you don't want to be sharing the whole notebook every single time. You only want to be sharing whatever it is that you covered on that given day. And at the end of the year, you can share the whole notebook so that the kids have access to it. Alright guys, so this pretty much sums up how you're going to use OneNote and the reason why all the commands at the top, the different pens and the selection of highlighters and copy and paste and delete commands could be useful and stuff. So if you have any questions on this, you know, feel free to send me an email. I'll write my email on this. Okay, so if you want, send it to this umar.raja@browardschools.com. So if you have any questions on this, you know, feel free to send me an email on this, or you can also write the comments on Miramar Print. That's the YouTube channel that I created. So if you want, you guys can write the comments on this. Now you might be wondering, why did I create this? Well, kids were coming to me and they were like, can I print something? And I was like, yeah, you guys can print something. But the thing is, you know, when you have so many kids coming to you, you know, it's like you can't have every single kid log into their own email and stuff. So I created an email that said miramarprint@gmail.com, and I used to tell them, send me an email on this and I'll just print that for you. I'll send it from my email to my printer. So, you know, using that same account, I was like, you know what, since Gmail owns YouTube, I might as well just create an account that, you know, that goes with that same name. So if you have any questions, you know, type this up, you'd be able to get to this video, and, you know, or you can always hit me up on this school email. Alright guys, this is it. Hope this helps you out, you know, and you're going to be able to use this stuff in the class. It's actually really nice stuff. Alright, later.